There's a certain quiet that settles over the garden in November. The last of the autumn leaves have fallen, the air has a distinct chill, and, honestly, many might think it's time to hang up their trowels and retreat indoors until spring. But I'm here to tell you that this couldn't be further from the truth. November isn't an ending, it is in fact a profound beginning. It's the time when we lay the foundations for the year to come, a quiet act of faith in the seasons and the soil. This is the moment to work with nature, not against it, preparing for the abundance that awaits. The seeds and cloves we sow now, tucked into the cold, damp earth, are making a promise. They will sit patiently through the darkest days of winter, establishing their roots, gathering their strength, and when the first hint of spring warmth returns, they will surge forth with a vigor that summer-sown crops simply cannot match. This period of dormancy is not an activity. It's a vital preparation. Here at Nature's Blueprint, we have a philosophy we live by. The gardener who wins November wins spring. It's about foresight, patience, and understanding the rhythms of the earth. So, join me today as we explore the incredible potential of the November garden. I will guide you, step by step, through the 20 most productive crops you can plant right now, before the ground freezes solid. This isn't just about getting a head start. It's about transforming your relationship with the seasons and reaping the rewards of a truly year-round garden. From robust roots to the earliest, most tender greens, this is your complete guide to ensuring a triumphant spring. Let's get our hands in the soil. We begin with what is, for me, the most essential November planting: garlic. There is something deeply satisfying about separating a firm, healthy bulb into its individual cloves, each one holding the potential for a whole new head. The magic of garlic lies in its need for the cold. That winter chill is not an obstacle, it's a trigger, a vernalization process that signals the clove to split and form the magnificent full bulbs we all covet next summer. Planting now ensures your garlic gets this essential cold period, resulting in a harvest that is simply unbeatable in both size and flavor. When you're planting, choose a sunny, well-drained spot. The last thing garlic wants is to sit in waterlogged soil through winter, which can lead to rot. I press each clove, pointed end up, about 2 or 3 inches deep into the soil. Imagine twice the depth of the clove itself. That's a good rule of thumb. Space them about 6 inches apart to give each plant ample room to swell and develop. This spacing prevents competition for nutrients and sunlight come spring, ensuring each bulb reaches its full glorious potential. Once they're in the ground, give them a gentle watering, just to settle the soil around them, but then you can largely leave them be. The winter rains will typically provide all the moisture they need. Your work for now is done. You've entrusted these small cloves to the care of the winter soil. It's an act of patience that will be rewarded tenfold when you pull up those pungent, perfect bulbs in the heart of next summer. It is, without a doubt, one of the greatest returns on investment in the entire garden. Next, we turn to a true stalwart of the cool season garden: spinach. While many greens falter as the temperature drops, spinach positively thrives. Sowing it now, in the cooling soil of November, allows it to establish a deep and resilient root system before the real cold sets in. This anchorage is its secret weapon, enabling it to survive the winter and then explode with growth at the first sign of spring, long before you could even think about preparing a bed for spring sowing. It's a remarkable display of resilience. One of the most wonderful things about overwintering spinach is how the cold transforms its flavor. The frosts trigger the plant to produce more sugars, which act as a natural antifreeze. This process, known as cold stress sweetening, results in leaves that are incredibly tender and noticeably sweeter than those grown in the heat of summer. You're not just getting an earlier harvest, you're getting a better tasting one. It's a perfect example of how the challenges of the season can yield the most delicious rewards. To give your spinach the best possible start, sow the seeds in rows and consider a light covering of mulch, like straw or shredded leaves, after the first true leaves appear. This layer doesn't need to be thick, it's just there to moderate soil temperature, prevent the ground from heaving in a hard freeze, and keep the soil from drying out in winter winds. This little bit of protection ensures your plants remain snug and ready to leap into action, providing you with the earliest, most welcome greens of the new year. Alongside garlic, onions are a foundational crop, and planting them in November is a game changer. We're talking about overwintering onion sets, these small, immature bulbs that you can plant now. By doing so, you are giving them an enormous head start. They will spend the winter months growing slowly but surely, establishing a robust root system that will power an incredible surge of growth once the days begin to lengthen in spring. This is the secret to achieving those truly impressive, extra-large bulbs. The process is wonderfully straightforward. You want to plant the sets in a well-drained, sunny position, as they, like garlic, resent sitting in wet ground. I find that spacing is key to a successful crop. Give each little set about 4 to 6 inches of space in the row, with rows about a foot apart. This might seem like a lot of room when you're planting these tiny bulbs, but you must have faith and picture the magnificent full-sized onions they will become. This space is crucial for good air circulation and allows each bulb to swell without constraint. Simply press each set into the soil so that just the very tip is visible. The birds can sometimes be a nuisance pulling them up, so ensure they are planted firmly. After that, they require very little from you over the winter. They are incredibly hardy and will patiently bide their time. Come late spring and early summer, you will be rewarded with an earlier and significantly heavier crop of onions than you would ever get from a spring planting. It's a simple technique for a superior harvest. You know, the taste of the first freshly picked pea is, for many of us, the true taste of spring. And actually, you can bring that moment forward by several weeks by sowing hardy, round-seeded pea varieties now, in November. While wrinkle-seeded types are best left for spring, the smooth-coated varieties are exceptionally tough and can withstand the damp and cold of a British winter. Sowing them now is really an investment in an earlier, more joyful harvest. They will germinate slowly and put down strong roots, ready for the off as soon as conditions allow. The key to success with autumn-sown peas is to plant them a little deeper than you would in spring. I create a drill about 2 inches deep and sow the seeds generously along the bottom. This extra depth provides insulation against the sharpest frosts and protects the seeds from being washed away by heavy winter rains. It gives them a secure, stable environment to begin their journey. Once they are sown, cover them back up with soil and firm it down gently with the back of a rake. You may not see much top growth before winter truly sets in, and that's perfectly all right. The important work is happening unseen, beneath the soil. As the weather warms in spring, you will be amazed at how quickly these overwintered plants shoot up, clambering up their supports while spring-sown seeds are only just beginning to germinate. This head start means you'll be picking sweet, delicious pods well ahead of schedule, a welcome and wonderful reward for your November foresight. Carrots are a staple, but overwintering them transforms them into something truly special. Sowing a hardy variety in November encourages the plant to develop a strong taproot before the ground freezes. Much like spinach, the carrots that grow and mature in this cold soil undergo a remarkable change. In response to the frost, the plant converts its starches into sugars to protect its cells, resulting in roots that are exceptionally sweet and crisp. A winter carrot is a far cry from a summer one. It's a genuine delicacy. For a successful winter crop, choose a variety known for its hardiness, like Autumn King or Nantes. Prepare your soil well, ensuring it is fine, sandy, and free of stones to allow the roots to grow straight and true. I sow the seeds thinly in shallow drills, as you don't want to be thinning them out too much in the cold. The aim is to give them enough space from the outset. After sowing, a crucial step is to apply a thick layer of mulch. Straw, bracken, or shredded leaves work wonderfully. This mulch is your carrot's winter blanket. It does several important things. It insulates the soil from the harshest freezes. It prevents the ground from cracking. And most importantly, it conserves moisture, which can be scarce when the ground is frozen. This protective layer allows the roots to continue their slow development, sweetening all the while. Come a cold day in late winter or early spring, you can pull back the mulch and harvest roots that are bursting with a sweet, earthy flavor. The thought of a fresh, crisp salad in the depths of winter might seem like a luxury, but with the right lettuce varieties, it is entirely achievable. Hardy winter lettuces, especially the Cos or romaine types and the loose-leaf oak leaf varieties, are incredibly dependable. They are far more tolerant of cold than many people realize. Sowing them in November allows them to establish before the light levels drop dramatically, and they will then sit quite happily, ready to be harvested leaf by leaf or as whole heads. One effective technique for overwintering lettuce is to plant them in slightly tighter rows than you might in summer. This close planting creates a microclimate, where the leaves of neighboring plants help to shelter each other from the worst of the wind and frost. It's a simple method of self-preservation that works remarkably well. You can sow directly into the ground or into modules for planting out later. A cloche or a layer of horticultural fleece will of course provide extra security and can extend your harvesting season significantly. Even if a hard frost knocks them back, you'll be amazed by their capacity to rebound. As soon as a milder spell arrives, they will produce new, tender leaves. This resilience makes them one of the most rewarding crops for the November garden. The ability to step outside and cut fresh, vibrant leaves for a salad, when the garden is otherwise dormant, is a simple pleasure that connects you to the seasons in a most profound way. It's a patch of green hope in the quiet of winter. If there is one vegetable that truly laughs in the face of winter, it is kale. This incredibly robust brassica is not just tolerant of the cold, it actually improves with it. Like spinach and carrots, the frost works its magic on kale, softening its tough texture and converting its starches to sugars, which mellows its flavor and removes any trace of bitterness. A kale leaf harvested after a good frost is tender, sweet, and absolutely packed with nutrients. Its growth in the cold is almost unstoppable. You can sow kale directly into the ground in late summer or early autumn, but planting out young established plants in November is a really excellent way to guarantee a winter-long harvest. They are incredibly resilient and require very minimal protection. While a very severe freeze might damage the outer leaves, the central growing point is remarkably well protected, and as soon as the weather eases, it will push out a fresh flush of new growth. This cut-and-come-again nature makes it one of the most productive winter crops you can grow. Choose a few different varieties for a range of textures and colors, from the crinkly Cavolo Nero to the frilly Red Russian. Plant them firmly in the ground, about 18 inches apart, to give them plenty of room to mature. They will stand like sentinels in your vegetable patch all winter, providing you with nutritious greens for soups, stews, or simply steamed as a side dish. Kale is really the very definition of a reliable, low-maintenance, high-reward winter vegetable. Beets, or beetroot as we often call them, are another wonderful root crop for the November garden, offering a fantastic 2-for-1 harvest. By sowing a hardy variety now, you are encouraging the plant to focus all its initial energy on developing a strong, deep root system over the winter. This slow, steady growth, uninterrupted by the stresses of summer heat, leads to beautifully tender and earthy roots come spring. They won't bolt as readily as spring-sown beets can, giving you a more reliable crop. But the rewards really don't stop with the root. As spring approaches, the leafy tops will surge into growth, providing you with an early crop of delicious greens. These beet tops can be cooked just like spinach or chard, and have a wonderful earthy flavor that is honestly a true taste of the changing season. It's a bonus harvest that you get while you're waiting for the roots to swell to their full size. This dual-purpose nature makes beets an incredibly efficient use of garden space. Sow the seeds in a sunny, well-drained spot, about an inch deep. Each seed is actually a cluster of several seeds, so you'll need to thin the seedlings to about 4 inches apart once they're large enough to handle. This gives each root the space it needs to develop properly. A light mulch can be beneficial to protect the young plants from the very worst of the winter weather. Patience with beets, sown now, will reward you with both tender roots and delicious greens early in the new year. When you're looking for a quick and satisfying crop in the cooler months, look no further than the radish. While we often think of them as a summer crop, many winter varieties are exceptionally hardy and can provide a surprisingly fast harvest. Sown in November under the protection of a cloche or in a cold frame, these radishes will grow steadily, if slowly, providing you with that peppery crunch when fresh vegetables are scarce. They are a splash of brightness in the winter diet. Beyond their speed, radishes offer another significant benefit. They are excellent for the soil. Their quick growth cycle means they are wonderful as a catch crop, filling gaps between slower-growing vegetables. As they grow, their taproots help to break up and aerate the soil. When you harvest them, you are left with a finer, more workable tilth for whatever you choose to plant next. They are little soil improvers, working away for you even in the cold. Choose a hardy winter variety, such as Black Spanish Round or China Rose. Sow the seeds thinly in rows and keep the soil consistently moist to encourage swift, even growth, which prevents them from becoming woody. In just a matter of weeks, even in the low light of winter, you can be pulling up these crisp, spicy jewels. It's an almost instant gratification that is pretty rare in the November garden, and a welcome one at that. Cabbage is a cornerstone of the kitchen garden, and planting it in November really sets you up for success. By choosing a hardy winter or spring cabbage variety, you bypass so many of the problems that can plague summer crops. The cool, steady growth of the winter months means the plants are far less likely to bolt or run to seed, which is a common issue in the fluctuating temperatures of late spring and early summer. Instead, they focus their energy on forming a single, dense and perfect head. Planting young, sturdy cabbage plants now allows them to establish deep roots before the ground freezes. This strong foundation will support them through the winter and fuel their rapid growth in spring. You'll find that these overwintered plants mature earlier and form heads that are just wonderfully crisp and sweet. Pests like the cabbage white butterfly are also absent, meaning your young plants can grow on, unchewed and untroubled, which is honestly a significant relief for any gardener. Space your plants generously, at least 1.5 feet apart, as they need plenty of room to spread their leaves and form a good-sized heart. Plant them deeply and firmly up to their first set of true leaves to anchor them against winter winds. A protective collar at the base can deter cabbage root fly. With this November planting, you are ensuring a supply of crisp, delicious cabbage heads, perfect for coleslaws, steaming, or fermenting from the very first days of spring. Broad beans are one of the hardiest legumes you can grow, and an autumn sowing in November is the traditional way to get the earliest and heaviest yields. Varieties like Aqua Dulce Claudia are specifically bred for this purpose, showing remarkable resistance to frost. Sowing now gives them a crucial head start. They will germinate and produce short, sturdy plants that will happily withstand the winter weather, ready to grow away rapidly as the days lengthen. One of the great unseen benefits of growing broad beans is their ability to fix nitrogen. As legumes, they have a symbiotic relationship with bacteria in the soil, allowing them to draw nitrogen from the air and store it in nodules on their roots. This enriches the soil, making it more fertile for the crop that follows. By planting them in November, you are not only preparing for an early harvest, but also actively improving your garden soil throughout the winter. It's a plant that truly gives back. Sow the seeds in a double row, about 2 inches deep and 9 inches apart. This allows the plants to support each other as they grow. They don't require the richest soil, but they do appreciate a sunny and sheltered spot. Come spring, these autumn-sown plants will be the first to flower, avoiding the worst of the black fly infestations that can trouble later sowings. The result is a clean, heavy crop of tender beans, a true reward for your work in the fading light of autumn. Turnips are a wonderfully versatile and often underrated vegetable, and a November sowing can yield fantastic results. Much like their cousin, the beet, they offer a dual harvest. By planting a hardy variety now, you can look forward to sweet, tender roots in the spring. The cool growing season prevents them from becoming woody and strong-tasting, which is a common complaint with summer-grown turnips. The winter cold mellows their flavor, making them deliciously sweet and earthy. Before the roots have even had a chance to fully mature, you can harvest the leafy tops. Turnip greens are a delicacy in their own right, with a peppery, mustardy flavor that is absolutely delicious when wilted down. This early harvest of greens is a welcome bonus, providing fresh, nutritious produce from your garden when little else is available. It makes the turnip an incredibly efficient and productive crop for the winter garden. Sow the seeds of a hardy variety, like purple top Milan, about 1/2 inch deep in a sunny spot. They are not particularly fussy about soil, but good drainage is, as always, beneficial. As the seedlings grow, thin them to about 6 inches apart to give the roots enough space to swell. They are remarkably frost-tolerant and will stand well throughout the winter, ready for you to harvest the greens as needed and the roots when they reach a good size in early spring. Swiss chard is, honestly, a powerhouse of a vegetable, combining the usability of spinach with the robustness of a brassica. It is exceptionally tolerant of cold, and is a star performer in the winter garden. Sowing chard in late summer or planting out young plants in November ensures you have a continuous supply of leaves throughout the colder months. Its vibrant stems, in shades of red, yellow, and white, bring a welcome splash of color to the often muted tones of the winter vegetable patch. What makes chard so valuable is its incredible resilience. A hard frost might knock back the outer leaves, causing them to wilt, but the plant itself is rarely killed. The central growing point is well protected, and as soon as a mild spell arrives, it will quickly send up a flush of fresh, new growth. This ability to rebound time and time again makes it an incredibly reliable and productive crop. You can harvest it leaf by leaf, ensuring the plant continues to produce for many months. Plant your chard in a reasonably fertile soil, giving each plant about a foot of space to allow it to develop into a strong, bushy clump. Keep it watered during any dry spells and you will be rewarded with a seemingly endless supply of delicious leaves. The stems can be cooked like asparagus and the leaves can be used just like spinach, making it two vegetables in one. It is a beautiful, productive, and utterly dependable addition to the November garden. For those who enjoy a bit of peppery spice in their salads and stir-fries, mustard greens are an essential winter crop. They germinate with incredible speed, even in cool soil, and their growth is vigorous. Sowing a patch in November can give you a harvest of tender, spicy leaves in as little as 4 to 6 weeks, especially if you offer them the minimal protection of a cloche. Their pungent flavor seems to intensify and improve in the cold weather. Beyond their use in the kitchen, mustard greens are a superb green manure. Their rapid growth helps to suppress winter weeds, and their deep roots work to break up heavy soil. When their productive life is over, you can simply chop them down and dig them into the ground. As they decompose, they release valuable nutrients back into the soil, improving its structure and fertility for the crops that will follow in the spring. They are a quick, productive crop that actively benefits your garden's health. Sow the seeds broadcast over a prepared bed or in shallow drills. They are not demanding plants and will grow well in most soils. You can harvest them as young, tender, cut-and-come-again leaves for salads, or allow them to grow larger for cooking. A November sowing provides a quick, spicy crop and a simple, effective way to protect and enrich your soil over the winter months. Planting asparagus is not about a quick reward, it is a long-term investment in the future of your garden and your kitchen, and November is the perfect time to plant one-year-old asparagus crowns. By planting now, you are giving these crowns a long dormant period to settle in and establish a deep, extensive root system. This is the foundation for decades of harvests. It's an act of faith that pays dividends for 20 years or more. Preparing the asparagus bed is a task worth doing well. Asparagus needs a permanent home in a sunny, very well-drained spot. Dig the bed deeply and enrich it with plenty of well-rotted organic matter. The traditional method is to dig a trench about a foot wide and 8 inches deep. You then create a small mound of soil along the bottom of the trench and drape the spidery roots of the asparagus crown over it, with the bud sitting at the top. Carefully backfill the trench, covering the crowns with a few inches of soil. Space your crowns about 18 inches apart to give them plenty of room. For the first 2 years, you must resist the temptation to harvest. This allows the plant to pour all its energy into developing that all-important root system. From the 3rd year onwards, you can begin to harvest the delicious, tender spears each spring. Planting in November is the first step towards a perennial harvest that will become a cherished part of your gardening year. Leeks are the epitome of a winter vegetable, patient, hardy, and honestly, just getting better with every frost. Planting young leek plants in November is a fantastic way to make sure you have a steady supply of this wonderfully versatile allium throughout the coldest months. They grow slowly and steadily through the winter, and, much like parsnips, the cold weather actually converts their starches into sugars. That means you end up with leeks that are exceptionally sweet and tender, with this mild, delicate onion flavor that's just so good. The traditional method for planting leeks is all about producing those long, white, blanched stems that everyone loves. So, you use a dibber to make holes about 6 inches deep, and then you just drop a young leek plant into each one. Don't backfill the hole with soil, just fill it with water. Over time, the soil will gradually wash down and fill the hole, which encourages the stem to grow long and white since it's kept out of the light. This process, called puddling in, is a classic and super effective technique. Space your leeks about 6 inches apart in rows. They'll stand happily in the ground all winter, so you can just lift them as and when you need them. There's no need to harvest them all at once. Honestly, the ability to walk out into the garden on a cold winter's day and pull a fresh, sweet leek for a comforting soup or stew is one of the great pleasures of growing your own. They're a reliable and rewarding crop that asks for very little. Parsley is, honestly, one of the most useful herbs you can have in the kitchen, and its fresh green flavor is welcome any time of year. While it might slow down a bit in the depths of winter, established parsley plants are surprisingly hardy and can easily overwinter with just a little protection. A healthy plant going into November will usually survive the cold, and then burst into explosive new growth in early spring, giving you an abundance of fresh leaves long before any spring-sown seeds have even started to germinate. If you've got parsley growing in your garden, make sure it's well watered heading into the colder months. Applying a layer of mulch like straw or bracken around the base of the plant can help insulate the roots from the harshest frosts. Alternatively, covering the plants with a cloche will provide excellent protection and might even let you keep harvesting small amounts of leaves throughout the winter. It's really about protecting the asset you already have. Even if the top growth dies back completely in a really hard freeze, don't be too quick to give up on the plant. More often than not, the root system will survive, and as soon as the weather warms, you'll see new shoots emerging from the crown. This overwintered parsley is going to be incredibly vigorous, producing a lush crop of leaves before it eventually goes to seed in its second year. It's such a simple way to make sure you have the freshest parsley at the earliest possible moment. Cilantro, or coriander, is a herb that many gardeners struggle with in the summer. It has a tendency to bolt or run to seed very quickly in the heat. However, it absolutely adores the cool, moist conditions of autumn and winter. Sowing cilantro in November, especially under the protection of a cold frame or unheated greenhouse, is the secret to a lush, continuous supply of leaves. The cool weather encourages it to stay in its leafy stage for much longer. The flavor of cilantro grown in cool conditions is also superior. It is more complex, aromatic, and less prone to the soapy taste that some people dislike, which can be exacerbated by heat stress. By sowing now, you are growing the plant in its preferred season, and the results speak for themselves. You can make successive sowings every few weeks to ensure you have a constant supply of this wonderfully fragrant herb for your curries, salsas, and soups. Sow the seeds in pots or directly into a prepared bed under cover. Keep the soil moist, and you will be rewarded with a thick carpet of green. You can harvest the leaves as you need them, and the plant will continue to produce. Growing cilantro in the cool of November transforms it from a tricky, fleeting herb into a reliable and abundant crop. It's a simple shift in timing that makes all the difference. Arugula, or rocket, is another green that thrives in the cooler temperatures of autumn and winter. Like cilantro, it is prone to bolting and developing an overly strong, bitter flavor in the summer heat. But when grown in the cold, its peppery taste becomes more refined and is often accompanied by a pleasant sweetness. It is incredibly cold tolerant and will continue to produce leaves throughout the winter, especially with a little protection. A November sowing of arugula will provide you with a quick and easy harvest. The seeds germinate rapidly, and you can begin picking the young leaves for salads in just a few weeks. It is an ideal cut-and-come-again crop. By regularly harvesting the outer leaves, you encourage the plant to keep producing new growth from the center, extending your harvest season for many weeks, if not months. Sow the seeds in a pot on a cool windowsill, in a cold frame, or directly in a garden bed under a cloche. It's not a fussy plant and will provide a generous harvest with minimal effort. The ability to add a handful of fresh, peppery arugula to a winter meal is a simple luxury. It brings a vibrancy and freshness to the plate that is especially welcome during the darker, colder months of the year. We finish with a green that is perhaps the ultimate winter salad crop, mache, also known as corn salad or lamb's lettuce. This is a plant of extraordinary hardiness. It can withstand freezing temperatures and can even be harvested from under a blanket of snow. Its small, dark green leaves have a wonderfully mild, buttery, and slightly nutty flavor that is absolutely delicious. If you want to be eating fresh greens from your garden in the very depths of winter, mache is the plant for you. Mache is best sown from late summer through to autumn. A November sowing will germinate and establish itself before the hardest frosts arrive. The plants will remain small and compact throughout the winter, hugging the ground for protection. They require no coddling, no special treatment, just a spot in the garden. Their resilience is truly remarkable, and they are a testament to the life that persists even in the harshest conditions. Sow the seeds broadcast over a patch of prepared soil and rake them in lightly. They will form a low-growing carpet of green. You can harvest the leaves individually or cut the entire small rosette at the base. The delicate flavor pairs beautifully with sharper winter flavors. Growing mache is a wonderful way to ensure that, even on the bleakest of winter days, you can still go out and gather something fresh, green and delicious from your own soil. And so, as we put the last of our November crops to bed, there's a sense of profound accomplishment. We haven't shut down the garden for winter, we have charged it with potential. Each seed, clove, and crown we've planted is a quiet promise, a store of life waiting for its cue. This work, done now in the cool, fading light, is the most powerful way I know to get ahead as a gardener. It is an act of collaboration with the seasons, ensuring that when spring does return, your garden will not just wake up but erupt with life and vigor. This is the essence of what we do here at Nature's Blueprint, working in harmony with nature's rhythms to create abundance. The gardener who wins November truly does win spring. You have laid the groundwork for an earlier, healthier, and more bountiful harvest. You have invested your time and effort now, and the rewards will be returned to you tenfold in the form of sweet roots, tender greens, and the deep satisfaction of a garden that thrives all year long. It's a testament to the power of foresight and patience. I hope this guide has inspired you to get out into your own garden this November and make a start. The potential is right there. Ozer stocks and ozer brikostide bike in the soil beneath your feet. For more guides like this, make sure to subscribe to Nature's Blueprint and share this video with someone who wants a thriving garden all year long. Thank you for joining me, and happy gardening.